going on, everybody? It's Owen here checking in. Just wanted to give a quick recap on an excellent TBL basketball game I had the pleasure of watching recently. Made the trip over to Kalamazoo, Michigan last Thursday to check out the home opener for the Galaxy as they faced off against the Glass City Wranglers. The Wranglers entered the game 2-0, and Kalamazoo entered the game 0-1. Like I said, very terrific basketball game. Tons of back and forth action, very high scoring, and really one of the best finishes we'll probably see this season, as this game will go down as a Game of the Year candidate in the Basketball League due to the last-second three-pointer to seal a victory by Chris Darrington. Glass City ended up winning this game 130-129. Each team had three players score over 20 points, as Chris Darrington led it for Glass City with 40 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. Chance Hawkins, who's their main rebounder, got involved on the offensive end in this game, put up 21 points, 4 rebounds, and Anthony Carmen got involved as well, as he added 22 points. I think his role is going to be really key for this team this season, as he helps Darrington out a considerable amount on the offensive end, a guy who can score points in big numbers as well to complement Darrington. And as for Kalamazoo, Justin Moss, 2015 MAC Player of the Year, real exciting addition to the Galaxy, led his team with 23 points, 7 rebounds. Ed Dyson, guard/forward, savvy scorer, added 26 points and 6 assists. And Markel Bradshaw, the point guard, had 20 points and 3 assists. Majority of that coming in the second half as he turned it on late in this game. But like I said, ultimately, Glass City would come out with the victory. They would ride Darrington's huge performance, and he'd seal the deal for them with that three-pointer. Now let's get into the game a little bit. So the Galaxy would jump out early in this contest, beginning the game on a 12-3 run. From that point on, Glass City began to figure it out a little bit, and these teams just traded buckets for the rest of the quarter, leaving Kalamazoo up 40-30 after the first. The second quarter, we would see Glass City begin to chip away at the Kalamazoo lead a bit, going on a 17-9 run to start the quarter, getting that game within 2 points. However, the Galaxy would have answers throughout the majority of this game, and they'd go on another run of their own and find themselves up 72-60 at the end of the second quarter. And a big part of that was Orlando Little Jr. for the Galaxy, who would score 12 of his 17 points in the first half. The third quarter would mimic the second in the sense that we would once again see Glass City chip away slowly at a Galaxy lead. They would find themselves down 12 to start the second half, and the game would become tied at 99 apiece with 50 seconds remaining. Chris Darrington would be a big part of why Glass City was able to get back into this game, although I will add his teammates gave him a little bit more help in the second half than they did the first. But ultimately, this team revolves around him. He is the centerpiece of this squad. So the game's tied up with 50 seconds to go, 99 apiece. However, Markel Bradshaw of the Galaxy would make a three at the end of the quarter to put the Galaxy up 102-99 heading into the fourth. Markel Bradshaw was a guy who would have to increase his offensive production in this second half, as some of his fellow teammates had went cold, and he answered the call, and he performed pretty well in this game. And once this fourth quarter hit, that's when this game got real memorable. We'd see the Galaxy jump out to an early lead in the fourth quarter, going up by as many as 8 with 6 minutes to go. And it was looking like they had the ability to close this game out, but Glass City would not fold. It was the story of this game. They would go down, they would come back, and that's what they did once again. So Glass City would come back and tie this game up at 122 apiece with 2 minutes remaining. And from this point on, teams were just trading buckets back and forth, and it was really starting to seem that the winner of this game would be the one with the ball in their hand last. Glass City would get a layup with under 30 seconds remaining to tie this game at 127 apiece before the Kalamazoo Galaxy would take the ball down the court and ultimately get a foul call drawn that would send Justin Moss to the line, where he'd sink both free throws. This put the Galaxy up 129-127 with just 1.5 seconds remaining. Glass City would take a timeout to set a play up to get their best player, Chris Darrington, the ball, and they'd be able to do just that. They'd find him at the top of the key, and he'd sink a three-pointer from about 35 feet out to win this game. Despite playing from behind for a majority of this contest, Glass City was ultimately able to get the job done and secure the victory behind the terrific play of Chris Darrington, as well as help from Anthony Carmen and Chance Hawkins. But that's not to say the Galaxy aren't a good team. I think they showed a lot in this game as well. I think they have a very deep bench. I think they have a lot of guys who can get the job done offensively, as well as a lot of guys who help out defensively. I think they have a lot of size and they have a lot of athleticism. And as for Glass City, you get one of the best players in this league, Chris Darrington. In most nights, that's going to be all they need. However, they do have role players that can help out in big ways. Anthony Carmen and Chance Hawkins played well tonight, but there's others on this squad as well who help out on other nights. And if they can continuously do that, that'll be all they need to be a top-tier team in this league. And as for the Galaxy, I really do think they're going to figure things out here and only continue to get better. And they will be, despite a bit of a slow start, they will be a threat to teams in the Midwest Division throughout the entirety of this season.
Albany Patroons took down the Montreal Tundra 90-80 on Friday night. Patroons were paced by Jameel Hood's 22-point night as he went 11 of 14 from the floor, and Wyche Post put up 15 points on 5 of 13 shooting to lead the way for Montreal. And now this game was a fun game to watch. It was back and forth, and you felt like the last team to go on a run would win this game. And now that was the case with this one, as we later find out. Montreal jumped out to a 24-13 lead early on with balanced scoring from their starters. But the Patroons, they gradually chipped away at that deficit behind 6 points from Hood, finishing the first down just 7, 34-27. And now Jameel Hood, he's a special player, and he's played very well in the first 2 weeks of the season. Albany is going to hope for more consistent production from him as the season goes on, I bet. Not to say he hasn't been consistently good already. He's got to continue that to keep on giving the Patroons the spark they need. Speaking of sparks, that's what Trevis Wyche did for the Patroons. In the second quarter, he finished with 17 points overall, and he had 7 of those in the second. He finished off the first half with a bang as he poked the ball away like John Stockton and finished strong on the other end to close the gap to 6. The teams would end the half with Montreal leading 55-49. And Albany, they fought off the Tundra pretty well, and they stopped the bleeding when Montreal started going on a run. Never got out of reach, and that is why they were able to keep the deficit at 6 through one half. Now, Mustafa Traore, he looked like Dennis Rodman out there during the 5 minutes he played in the third quarter. He might have only had 2 points, but he had 5 rebounds, one of which was on the offensive glass, where he proceeded to dish it to Hood for the lay-in. That cut the lead to just 1, and after Wyche got to the line and hit both free throws, the Patroons had their first lead of the game, 63-62 with 4:03 remaining. And they held a 1-point lead heading into the fourth. And Albany, they came out to the locker room firing. And this is something we have seen before. And since the start of this year, Patroons, they played much better in the second half as opposed to their play in the first half. As the game went down to the wire, both teams went cold on offense. It took 2.5 minutes before Kylian Rotardier broke the ice by hitting 1 of 2 from the line to tie the game at 71. Then the floodgates opened for the Patroons, and with the game tied at 73, Albany proceeded to go on an 8-0 run in the span of 4 minutes. And Jameel Hood, he scored the last 6 points of that run, and he took the game over like Jimmy Butler. The Patroons did not look back after this, and they picked up the win 90-80. Coming off of a 118-85 win over the Academia Alma on Saturday, the Patroons picked up a 101-82 win over the Alma on Sunday, and it must have been a nice change of pace from the first 4 games of the year for the Patroons. Albany got 21 points from Josu Solemn, while Marc-Andre Fortin impressed with 20 points and 16 rebounds. Now the Patroons look like they're starting to put things together here, and that's dangerous if it only took them about a week and change. Yes, there is a long way to go, but this game was a masterclass from the Patroons. Albany started this one out strong. Philip Flory got the start and played one of his best quarters yet as a Patroon. He had 11 points and tore it up on the offensive end, showing shades of Stephen Curry. His fast start helped the Patroons open up a 30-22 lead after one. For the second straight night, the Patroons started out strong, and tonight Flory was the catalyst for their first quarter success. He was impressive, and if he can continue to put in these quality performances, it just makes the team even better every night. And the second quarter featured more of the same, but with a different star, and that was Josu Solemn. He had 8 points and stretched out the defense like Kevin Durant, and with that help, the Patroons found themselves up 14 at the half. Now, Albany in this second quarter, they really flexed their muscles, and Josu Solemn really went off. His skill and ability to finish at the rim should not be overlooked across the league. The third quarter saw the Patroons pull away for good, and it was an impressive quarter of basketball, great team basketball, and it kind of seemed reminiscent of the 2022 Golden State Warriors. He outscored the Alma by 7 to take a commanding 77-56 lead. And the offense was humming, and it was not just one guy doing all the scoring, and that was what made it very impressive. The defense also shouldn't be overlooked here. They were very impressive as well. They only allowed 17 points in the quarter, and for a good stretch of time, the Alma looked helpless. It almost started to feel bad for them. And now in the final frame, Albany continued their onslaught. Marcus Merchant played a team-high 41 minutes, and in the fourth, he made good on Coach Rowland's decision to keep him in. He had 6 points and added on a rebound, assist, and a steal. His all-around play had him looking like LeBron out there. And that performance helped seal a perfect 3-0 weekend for Albany and a 101-82 win on Sunday. And now, I know a lot of sports fans like close games and prefer them over blowouts, and hey, believe me, I do too. Sometimes you just gotta sit back and appreciate how well a team is playing on that given night. Gotta say, this was me while watching this one. Very amazing performance from the Albany Patroons.